Hi lovely friends, welcome back to Tarot AF. So today I have another pick a card reading for you all on what do they miss about you. I'm really excited to delve into this one today. So firstly, what we're going to do for each pile is we're going to look at this connection so you can affirm that that one is for you and feel grounded in that. We're going to look at the two energies and also the connection itself, what binds you together. We'll then delve into some tarot punctuated by some oracle cards, looking at what it is specifically they miss about you. We'll also get some channeled songs, which I haven't done in a while, to see kind of what songs may remind them of you or what might again bring up some things for the relationship. And as always, we will end with some love and relationship advice for you from Spirit. So if you've never been to a pick a card reading before, hello and welcome. We have 3 piles ready and waiting for you to decide which one you'd like to go for. We have pile 1 with the Oriens Tarot deck, we have pile 2 with the Soleil Tarot deck, and we have pile 3 with the Guided Hand Tarot deck. So what you can do, you can take a moment, you can pause the video, meditate over it, see which one is drawing your eye, trust that one is for you. And what I do is I post the times in the box below and you can skip ahead there to your reading. I will see you then. Bye. Hi lovely friends of pile 1. So if you picked the Oriens Tarot deck, then this reading is going to be for you. I'm going to put your tarot to the side and we're going to first check in with this connection, see what binds you, like I said at the beginning, so you can double check that this is the energy and it feels right and it clicks with you and resonates with you before we delve into tarot. So firstly, what connects you? We have got the third eye, we've got psychic development, and then in terms of energy, we're going to look at the 2 people within this connection. So the first person, you can assign yourself to either or them to either, see where it feels like it fits. We have patience for energy 1 with spider energy, and then we also have the world energy and elk for energy 2. So firstly, let's talk about what connects both parties, and this is this psychic development. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you feel like you have psychic abilities or within this connection that the other person does either. It doesn't mean that. It's this knowing feeling, and it's like the spidey senses, spidey senses tingling. It's like almost being, I hear like telepathy, like being able to read the other's movements or almost know how they're feeling when they're apart. So obviously we're looking at what they miss about you, but maybe they feel a lot about what you're feeling too. I feel like maybe this is quite a mirrored situation in some ways, or certainly maybe within thoughts or feelings, depending on what you feel like you're aligned on. But there is this kind of all-knowing, and with this crystal ball, this kind of future, I feel like maybe what connects you is the future, maybe what you guys both see for this connection. Because at the moment it feels like, obviously we've got patience here for energy 1 and we've got the world for energy 2. So it feels like things are still formulating, like the timing is maybe the thing within this pile, within this connection that is slightly, I don't want to say off, but maybe it's almost been planned this way, that you guys will be waiting for something or someone to do something. And so maybe it feels like timing's off, but that won't resonate with everyone, me saying it in that way. But what I mean is just generally things haven't come together maybe, or you aren't at the togetherness in which you both envisage right at this moment in time, but it's almost like you can see ahead. But also with the psychic development, whether that's kind of hearing, whichever sense it is, feeling, like I said, seeing, there's this kind of clearness and this clarity between you both. So even if you don't have to say or do anything, there's this kind of mutual understanding here that I feel like connects. And I do feel like future is something that I'm hearing quite strongly for this pile. So with energy 1, we've got the patience card and we've got spider. So I feel like spider Both energies are earth energy, so Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. So maybe those are within your charts for both, but it doesn't have to be. But it's really just the energy. And with Spider, this is someone who, with great patience and diligence, is almost creating the web already. They know almost their life's purpose, and they are just kind of getting on with it and seeing all the different strings aligning, creating that financial or spiritual abundance and stability for their future. Very creative, Spider, so I feel like can make leaps and bounds, but there is this just kind of divine timing that they feel like they are supported, I think, on a universal level. And I keep doing this, which is so funny because obviously psychic development is doing that. I think Spider is almost 2 steps ahead of the game, can see the chessboard at work. So maybe, like I was saying, the future maybe in which you guys are both planning, if there's distance within this connection, maybe you guys are in a relationship but there's distance because of someone having to go and do something or whatever it is, or maybe there's this separation for the time being whilst one party or both parties focus in on their work, or there's a lot of kind of work or career stuff, or maybe even education for some people involved, I feel, in this pile, because we've got this heavy earth energy. It's like creating the stability and the security in order for then this relationship to have a foundation in some way. There could even be traveling involved with the World and Elk, but I don't want to skip too far ahead. But with Spider, what I mean is I feel like both people are focusing on that, on their kind of earthly manifestations, and making sure that they feel anchored and grounded. And I think Spider is kind of this, I think both people are very dependable and quite secure and anchored within who they are and themselves. I think Spider has almost cracked this ability that it's not happening, it's kind of, all of it is divinely guided in some way. I feel like there's this creativity which they just feel very supported, and they are supporting themselves too. There's this kind of, I'm not waiting for stuff to happen, it's coexisting, I'm co-creating. It's not sitting still, but it's still with this support. It's meeting the divine halfway. There's really kind of heavy like magician energy here. So maybe they manifest themselves, or they just have this innate ability to really tap into the balance between believing, because some people need to see to believe it, but I think Spider can visualize where they're going, see that end product and work towards that, and they believe that they will get there. They can kind of bypass that. They feel it. They feel that they know where they're going, and then that is a really great catalyst to co-create. So I feel like that's who Spider is, and they are maybe being patient within this connection as well. Maybe they're biding their time. They're like, okay, whilst we can't be together logistically or whatever it is, I'm going to be grounded within myself. I'm going to create the web of kind of support that I need, but also support probably around Elk. I feel like there's almost this kind of like placeholder for both people within each other's lives. And so if this doesn't feel like your connection, maybe go back and pick another pile. But what I mean by placeholder is that there's kind of this forward planning, forward thinking for this future, like we've been saying, and almost placing that person in their future. So even if it's not in this present moment, they can see everything and how it will all interconnect and weave together. And then with energy too, we have the World and Elk. So Elk, again, earth energy, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, doesn't necessarily have to have those placements in your or their chart, but this is someone very, again, dependable. And I feel like their brain is a fire, and maybe this is great passion towards the other person as well. But I feel like they are someone extremely dependable, and this real kind of old soul is what I'm hearing in a lot of ways. But I feel like they are very grounded, anchored within themselves, very similar to Spider. And I think they are, again, with the World card, setting their sights on what they want in the future for this connection, but also for them. And maybe they are traveling or something like that at the moment, or they're moving in some respect, potentially. But really, in terms of the energy, it's almost like the planets aligning with this World card is what I'm hearing. Like it's like the world in our tarot deck. Like they can see the wholeness and the completion, the journey and the movement forward, and they're kind of setting their sights on that. But this is someone very loving, very nurturing and hardworking. I think both parties within this connection are that, and very much their own people. But there is this kind of divine patience and divine guidance for both that they see. And with this World card as well, obviously I said about earthly manifestation, so I feel like both people are kind of getting their life's purpose, their life's work into gear, and in turn, like I said, putting placeholders in the future, can see where this could go and where this may lead. So this is the kind of energy within the connection. So like I said, we're going to go into tarot now with a few punctuated oracle cards. So let's go into that. But if you don't feel like that was your connection, obviously you can go right back to the beginning and pick a new pile. But we will shuffle your tarot cards and then we will get going on this connection a little bit. So let's do another one for some good measure. So, Spirit, we've already got some thoughts. Let's have a look at this connection. Ooh. Okay, so we have got the Star, we have got the Ace of Cups, so this is what they miss about you. And we've got the Nine of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Oh, I'm gonna put those back. One more for the top, please. Spirit. Okay, the Fool, 2, and we'll get one to clarify each. So can I get a clarification on the Star? We have got the Sun, 2, lovely. Ace of Cups, please, Spirit. Ooh, okay. Well, Spirit was like, this is going too slow. Let the people see, please. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Okay, and we've got the Judgment card as well, which has come out. So I'm going to pop that on the back and remember that there. But I'm going to put it off to the side as well, because I don't think I'll have room for it. But we will remember that, everyone. Judgment on the back, because I feel like that is very significant to this connection. And then in terms of oracle cards, we have Freedom. You are releasing any self-imposed restrictions on perceived limitations through the loving energy of openness. So we have got Freedom there. We have got Earth. A steady foundation supports fertility and growth. Practical, stable, grounded. And obviously we had a lot of Earth as well. We have Abundance. We have Boundaries 2. So, great. Where to begin? So, firstly, what I'm seeing, which I really love, is Star. Well, we don't have the moon here, but like the Star, the Sun, the world. Like I get this real kind of feeling of seeing the world in each other in a lot of ways, and I feel like that's what they miss about you, is probably that connectivity. And I think with this earth, again, we've got this earth energy within the piles. We've also got Knight of Wands, so maybe someone could be a fire sign, like maybe strong fire and earth placement. So with fire energy, we've got Leo, Sagittarius or Aries. But again, the Knight of Wands is flight and emigration. So maybe that is something, like I was saying, for some people, and we've got the Fool for new beginnings, that kind of maybe even reinvention within self, following their intuition across waters. Again, Six of Swords is journey across water, across sea. So, or just journey away from thought. So maybe there is this kind of, for some people, maybe someone's gone traveling or has to move away for work, but take that with a pinch of salt if that doesn't work for you. But I think there is this freedom within this connection, and I think the abundance which we were talking about earlier, the abundance for the future, the kind of wealth and security that you find within each other, I think that's what they miss. I think they miss the surprises, or the kind of free-flowing nature of this. With the earth, obviously the steady foundation supports fertility and growth. I think both people nurture, support one another, and through all of their endeavors, even if they're vastly different what each person is working towards, I feel like there is this great spring. Like, you guys can nurture whatever it is within this connection that you want to, and there's great freedom in being cultivators for your life in a lot of ways. And with this boundaries, this no, I feel like you guys have this, again, we've got this kind of third eye overlooking, wrapped around all this earth energy. And I feel like both people are able to kind of say clearly what it is that they want and what their boundaries are, but also with other people. Like, I get a very strong, like, it doesn't matter what anyone else says about us or thinks about us within this connection, like, we both know. And I think there is that healthiness of, we are the two people within this connection. With the Star and the Sun, I think I'm getting this strong, like, again, future energy. Like, there's great joy and great uplifting energy within this, and there's this kind of childlike curiosity for the future and what that will hold. And with the Star, there is this patience again, but there is this serenity and faith that what you guys want and what you guys are manifesting is going to come to you. And I think they are in awe of your ability to do that, because obviously we're looking at why they what do they miss about you, but I think they miss your togetherness, but I think they miss being around your kind of tranquil ease, that things are going to come together, that things are going to work, and your vulnerability in what you want and what you are hoping for. Like, I think your guiding star, what it is, your true north, is always shown on your sleeve, like wearing your heart on your sleeve. And this is again clarified by that Ace of Cups and the World, that I think you are not only for them an emotional experience which has helped them grow and really drink deeply and has nourished and healed them from a lot of things, but I think you also bring love to their goals and ambitions. And there is again this great joy in seeing each other succeed and see what it is that you both want to do and find your own wholeness and completion. And maybe they even emotionally helped you set your sights on what it is that now you're landing on, potentially, or I mean, you maybe helped them. It could be vice versa. Maybe both of you just brought that love to one another, that space in order to grow and really be true to your own heart of what it is that you actually want to connect to. But obviously we have that Judgment card as well, which I wanted to bring up. And I think with this Judgment, this can feel like a higher calling. So maybe you feel like this is a very spiritual connection and obviously we had psychic abilities earlier. So kind of like a divinely guided thing that has helped you walk on this new path towards something else. Maybe it feels like completely different to everything else. There's this kind of alarm bell change moment. Like, this doesn't feel like relationships from the past for either of you. And I think with this Judgment card as well, there's this feeling that both of you have broken out of boxes, and you guys have both gone through this kind of spiritual growth within yourselves of breaking out of the preconceptions or the kind of coffin of the world that you were living in, and kind of helped uplift each other and move each other along. And that can be a really scary process, that kind of feeling that things are crumbling around. And this, again, with the Tower and the Fool, I get that maybe I've got two things for this. So maybe that if you're the one that's gone off, if you're away from them, or they vice versa, it could be either way. I think with the Fool, the new beginning or the new phase, the new journey that happened, that kind of that distance or movement away potentially, I think that really changed and felt like a moment that things really, I'm hearing rumble in the jungle, but I think it's that kind of feeling of core shaking, like, why do things have to change? There may have even been that resistance to do that, and maybe even their wall went up in some ways, or your wall went up, because you felt that trust and faith in the connection, but there's still that, it feels like everything we've been working towards, or within this connection, everything we saw, it feels like it's slipping away and it's breaking away. But this kind of revelation starts new beginnings, new journeys. So that could be one thing that I see for this part of the reading here. But also I can see that the new beginnings from that Judgment of allowing yourself to break out of that box, to really leaning into the change within yourself, allowed you maybe to see this connection and them to see this connection. Maybe you guys were friends for years before this, or maybe you were if you were fairly new to each other. I feel like both people went through their own massive shift and their kind of massive break out of the box moment. Then kind of, it felt like two new people hatching and coming together. Then it was like the egg is almost that coffin, that box that has been broken out of, and you can identify that within the other person, that they are anchored within themselves. So I think they miss that. I think they miss that, because sometimes when you feel really out of the box, and you can identify and see in other people when they are chasing things that they don't necessarily want to be doing, or they are kind of stuck on the hamster wheel of life. And I feel like both of you kind of got off that carousel and could kind of identify that within one another, that you guys were going towards your spiritual and life's purpose in a lot of ways. And it's then kind of quite hard, once you have taken the lid off the box, to see other people go through that. So I think there's this freedom that both of you have within yourselves, that it's quite hard to identify sometimes in other people. So I feel like that's what's missed as well, is being around your energy of openness and freedom and being who you are. And I'm hearing abundantly clear, like, it's abundantly clear who you are, wearing your heart on your sleeve of what it is that you want to achieve as well. So maybe if, like I said, there is that like life's purpose within this that I think both people are chasing, there's that openness to what it is that you want, which I think they really miss. They miss that that energy of someone who exactly says what they want. Because I don't think, out of fear, I think a lot of people will hide what it is that they want, or not say their plans too soon in case things go awry. But I think there is just this love of life and the love of possibilities and the prosperity and abundance that you know that you can align with and you are worthy of, that they really find tantalizing and mesmerizing that you can be that open and honest and vulnerable. And I said vulnerable before, and vulnerability is strength. That is innate proof of strength, that you can be there, bare your soul and say, this is what I want. And you're not afraid to make actions towards that. But also, if there's curveballs, if there is a change in direction, a change in the wind, there is this strength that you can release your ego's plan of what it is that you wanted or what you thought you wanted, and reanalyze. And with this 9 of Wands and 4 of Pentacles, that is exactly that. There is that strength against any opposition, this real, I think, again, we've got that guard up. So maybe if there was, because obviously we're saying what they miss about you, so to fill in the blanks, I imagine there is some distance at the moment, or maybe it's just been a couple of days or weeks or whatever, and you were like, what do they miss? But maybe there is this kind of guard up in some way, this kind of boundaries that may have been, maybe there's something that you are guarding in terms of your passions, but I get this real openness from you. So I think this is more that you are strong against opposition of other people's opposing wills and desires, and that your spirit is incredibly strong and fierce, and it's almost like can't be tamed is what I'm hearing more, is like you're not going to compromise yourself for anything. And I think you have this real hard outer shell, which maybe you've, like, the boundary you have let down for this person, which is why they feel so that they can see your vulnerability but your strength. But I think there's this real tough outer shell in terms of you are not afraid of the trials that may be ahead, or the obstacles or the diversions, because there is this tenacity and there is this great spirit in moving things along. And you realize that the world, the earth, is in cycles, and it will always be there. The universe will always be there to catch you. And you are very practical about what it is that you want. And even if there are loads of possibilities and everything, you can internalize that and say, what is it? And there's this not chasing, because obviously we're talking about earthly manifestations. It's like you're not being greedy or anything, but if you do feel like, because there can be a fine line, you're not afraid to release that and really look internally to where your intuition is driving you. And with this Knight of Wands and this 6 of Swords, obviously I had that feeling that maybe for some people, maybe you were the one that charged away and were following your intuition, your nose to the grindstone, your instincts were going wild for this idea, and there's this kind of impulsivity to run after something, this feeling like maybe a goal that you set for yourself, you could see where that was leading you, and maybe that was a way, kind of like that journey by water, like I was saying. But I think there is just this general feeling that you are able to save your own self and leave what it is that you no longer need in the past and release it completely in order for a new window to open, that new door. So it feels like no matter what you get cut off from, you're always able to see a new avenue, a new way of being and thinking and getting a new perspective. And I'm hearing break my stride, like nothing's gonna break my stride. And so maybe that resonates for you, but there's this feeling of being on top of the world and on top of what it is that you want, and understanding that life has ebbs and flows, but that is a part of it. And actually all of those things are happening for you, not to you. They are learning curves in order for you to get to that new beginning, that road for that world. And if you do feel like things really do erupt and really break down, that initial sense of loss is then filled with this kind of revelation, this space in order to create something new. And that almost sets you going even more. You're like, okay, so how do I think about this? How do I move forward? So I think that's really inspiring energy to be around. Someone who is unapologetically them and following where their instincts are taking them. Not in a way where it's like completely, oh, I'm gonna let go of everything that I know in order to go for this one thing. But I think there is this kind of life's too short to hold back energy, which I think they are just absolutely floored by, and inspired, and maybe want to take leaves out of your book towards that, but all the while being really practical about it. Like, it's that I wouldn't be surprised if you have this kind of psychic development or this kind of trust in the universe, and maybe you manifest yourself, or have a spiritual practice, because there is this, or just really know your authentic self and understand that, because I think you just know that you're setting yourself up for success, and you've got you're anchored, and you have complete control over your life in terms of, I make my decisions, I have free will at every single step of the way, but I have really created a foundation for me to play on top of that, so I can listen to what it is that I feel that I want and go after that. And there's this kind of fear, like, you don't need to be fearful of what may come up, because if you don't try now, then it may slip away from you, that kind of possibility. And I think you're always going to chase the love of what you want to do, and bring that into the places where you feel like there is resistance, and you're not afraid to lean into the unknown, that unknown feeling. There's this kind of fervent energy bubbling up, and I think that freedom within yourself, that freedom to play, and that you can always kind of sense that abundance, like you're always like on the money, I think, with what you want to do, but I think that's what they love, that spirit, that tenacious dedication to yourself above all else. So that's that. But I also think with the sun as well, I kind of skipped over that a bit, but there is this optimism and just joy, general joy of being within your presence. It's like, obviously we've got world and sun really gravitational, that you really I think you set a room alight as well, and just different, like, people's minds, I think, are just lit up when you're around, and yeah, I think people just want to be around, and they're captivated by that energy of how you show everyone yourself, and how people are kind of magnetized to you. So I want to get you some cards for this connection firstly. So from these Romance Angels cards, so what may be coming up in this connection, okay, or relevant to this connection. We've got children. Your love life is being affected by children. And okay, I was about to start talking about it, but I'm gonna come back. Honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Okay, and we have new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Okay, so with children, your love life is being affected by children. Maybe there are children involved within this connection. Obviously, we had the elk earlier, which I said was a kind of very paternal or maternal figure. So maybe that is something that resonates. But what I get more, because I said about childlike joy within the sun, I feel like maybe this play that both of you want to do, that kind of childlike joy, seeing the world as possibilities, that may be something that is stinting, like I said, going off, having to do this, or following life's work. That child play that you both allow yourselves to do, like, and because obviously we had so much earth energy as well, and I did say you guys are very anchored within yourself, but I think you're allowing your children to play at this moment in time, your inner child's to play, your inner children, sorry, to play at this time, following instincts. But that then means that there's something kind of blocking the connection in that way, because you're allowing your inner child, who's not necessarily looking for the future of this connection or thinking practically in terms of this relationship's future, to wander. But I think you guys have both got that hold on it, that, you know, you're following your own thing at the moment, is what I'm getting, or you can see where this is going, but at the moment you're just kind of allowing yourselves to be and stir up. With this honeymoon, maybe if someone is traveling, maybe the other person is going to go and meet them, or maybe there is this period away, or if there has been separation or something, maybe there's this kind of something planned in the future that means that you guys will reconnect. That's what I'm hearing from that one. And honey as well, I'm just hearing like the sweetness of you guys being able to talk, even if it's over the phone or whatever it is. Like maybe there is this kind of period where but even if you're not physically there, you guys can both talk or chat and whatever that is, and take that time for yourselves to enjoy each other's company. And with this new love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Remember that you guys are continuing to change and to evolve, and maybe this, like I said right at the beginning, I think I said at some point, maybe this was friends for years or something. So maybe you guys are still just friends, but you guys have always kind of, maybe timing's been off or something like that. So like maybe like Ross and Rachel vibes. But maybe it's like that love has stirred since you guys have been away, or maybe it was new and then you guys kind of had this distance or kind of separation, but also remember that you guys are both evolving and changing within yourselves. So there's always new things to nourish within and connect with in this relationship, and new feelings to kind of unravel as you guys are both growing independently, I think, away from one another. So keep seeing each other with that childlike curiosity of who the other person is, where they're growing towards. And I think those feelings really do, it's like a cat with a ball of like string. Like I think things just keep unfolding as you keep connecting, keep talking, or keep having this bliss together. So that's really kind of coming up within this relationship, that kind of new love within it stirring up. But maybe there's still this kind of play that you're both allowing each other to have outside, like within work, is what I'm hearing more for that children one. Or if there are children, like I said, not to bypass that for those. But maybe there is this kind of practicalness that one person has to have whilst the other person, or maybe both parties, have children. Like they've practically got to think about that for their lives and putting them as the first priority, which may cause like separation via distance if you guys live in separate places or whatever it is. So I just thought I'd say that as well. So let's get some songs. I'm excited to do some channel songs because I've not done some channel songs on YouTube for a while. So for this connection, generally what they may be feeling. Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting all of those, but here we go. So we've got Two Become One, Spice Girls. Great song. We've got Infatuation, Christina Aguilera. We have got the mixtape, Jax's Mannequin. We've got I Will, the Beatles. This is one of my favourite songs. And we've also got I Want to Hold Your Hand, the Beatles. So there we go. But yeah, from this, I feel like there is just this great passion with that infatuation. And great, maybe you were both crushing on each other for a lot of years. Again, there feels like this kind of like childlike joy and kind of this like teenager kind of vibes with this. Like you guys get thrown straight back into what it is like to have a new love, like with that two become one as well. I get this kind of like, oh, like just this overwhelming kind of yeah, just that feeling of having a crush, and all those feelings that stir up for that, like feeling like going on a first date. It's like all those butterfly feelings, that effect. And the mixtape, maybe that's the kind of mixed feelings that are going on at the moment, that practical versus the kind of playfulness. And the I want to hold your hand is so beautiful because there's this kind of wanting to connect and wanting that connectivity, and there's all that say you'll let me hold your hand, I want to do this, and obviously with I will, there's that kind of, again, like I said, one of my favorite songs, but there's this feeling like it's like some of the lyrics that I'm trying to think of right now are like it's like, who knows how long I've loved you. There's this beautiful one which kind of linked to the psychic development that I was just thinking of. I've just lost it, but it's like if I wait a lonely lifetime. It's basically about whether we're near or far, I'll like always hear you, and it's so beautiful. It's like the last chorus. Go and listen to that song right at the end. Sorry, I'm having an absolute brain malfunction. It's like going through the whole song, but yeah, it's so beautiful. So hopefully those songs resonate and that feeling kind of resonates. So take a little listen if you haven't heard them, but specifically that Beatles one is what I'm hearing. Damn it, Anna. Damn it. But it's fine. You guys listen to that. But let's get you guys some love affirmators, some advice for you guys moving forward. Okay, well, we've got two. I'll get one more. There we go. Okay, let's go. So we have got initiative. Step right up. You're being awarded a boost of initiative. This potent potion will give you the gusto you need to move your life in a previously unexplored direction. If you're in a relationship, then it's time to take initiative and make some interesting plans for you and your partner. If you're not in one, it's time to reach out to old friends, go on adventures, and potentially meet some new cohorts. Either way, this great journey is beginning with one small step, or one short text, or whatever. I'm not the boss of you. So with that initiative, obviously we had all of this thing about honeymoon and new love and that stirring up and exploring unearthed territory, because there was all this, maybe this like psychic development, it's the feelings, but maybe there's never been that kind of relationship as well, like maybe it's been friends, like that kind of will they, won't they. But it's time, I think, to, especially if this is something that you want, this direction, that obviously there's this great patience, I think, for both people, but I think there's this like momentous kind of almost, where is this going? And like I said, both people kind of setting their sights on what it is that they want to do, and that placeholder in each other's lives. And maybe there's this kind of feeling that now is the time to make that small step in order for the future to kind of, in whichever way it is that you want, to reach out and say almost, this is what I see, what do you see? Which can be quite scary, that unknown direction, that feeling of the unknown. But maybe that's the time, is to strike up a new chord for this relationship. We've got benefit of the doubt. I believe in the basic goodness of other people and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. And later on, if I need to, I can always change my mind and retroactively judge them like it's my career. So with the benefit of the doubt, so I didn't speak about this as much, but obviously I said about the boundaries and a guard going up maybe at some point. And I said, when I was talking about it, I was like, I feel like there's this openness and this vulnerability and this honesty within this connection, but maybe for some people, especially if there is that distance for maybe there's a passion being kept hidden or something, or maybe if they are the ones that have gone off to like travel or whatever it is, or go and work elsewhere, maybe there's this feeling that your guard went up, or and they and there's that kind of protective layer. But maybe there's this kind of heal the ouch moment, and to really bear and be honest, like, actually that affected me, that did do that to me, and actually I trust and forgive for what's happened and we can move on and all of those things. But there's that kind of you maybe left me behind, or that's the kind of feeling that I might be getting for some people within this. And maybe this is the chance to show your vulnerability, like the thing that was hurting you, and maybe that you put up that boundary against for that self-preservation and protection. And maybe by showing that vulnerability and being honest in that way, that in turn will breed that from them. And then we've also got thoughtfulness. It's time to put away your money. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and have fun showing your love. Think of all the little things you can do to show a person you love them. Then stop thinking of those things and actually do them. Is it time to hide a note in someone's pocket? Make them a snack? Order them a book? Anything thoughtful can be an act of love, even taking the trash out to the dumpster. Unless you're dating the trash, in which case, don't take it to the dumpster, take it somewhere fancy. Wow. Who would have thought that being so full of thoughts could be considered thoughtful? So I love that one. I think this is all that kind of, we were saying about the goals, the future, that kind of world energy of where you potentially guys want to go, and that patience. But maybe it's time to start acting towards that. Maybe it's time to start taking that initiative and show your thoughts and how you're feeling. And again, there was that kind of hide a note in someone's pocket, like that kind of teenager joy, like we were just saying, that kind of playfulness and that fun. If things have got quite serious within this connection in terms of someone chasing their work or stuff outside of it, especially if there's distance in that way, maybe it's time to bring a little bit more of that play back into the connection and the relationship, and not be so like, because obviously we said both people are very authentic about what it is they want to do or their life's purpose, or essentially, or definitely finding that within themselves, and that's kind of top priority. But maybe there's this kind of like, we can do all of that, we can still be that finding our own wholeness, but we can be cherries on top of each other's cake and like have fun, like with the sprinklings of everything else on top, and again bring out that inner child in both people, in each other, and also this connection. And I think, yeah, showing your love, showing that you care, and doing those things instead of just thinking, oh, it'd be great to do this, it'd be great to do that. If you guys do have time that you guys are seeing each other, if there's this honeymoon period or this coming together planned, maybe it's time to think about things that you could do. Take that initiative and don't be afraid to be open and honest, and like I say, bring love, because there's that Ace of Cups, that kind of new emotional opportunity or experience that they see, and that's what they miss, is that kind of fortuitous moment of like, what if, what could happen, that full heart that you can keep drinking from. There's always excitement and adventure around the corner. So maybe that's something for both parties to start doing. And I think that's what you guys probably both miss, is that interconnectivity, that that spark of what are we going to do. So I don't think you ever have to lose that within this connection because it's so prevalent throughout. So, my glorious friends of pile 1, if you're still with me, thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards today. I'm going to leave this reading here for you guys. I am sending so much love to all of you. I really hope to see you guys again soon. If you'd like to see me there, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I am sending so much love. Bye. My lovely friends of pile 2, so if you picked the Lunar Soleil tarot deck, then this reading is going to be for you. But firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this connection before we delve into any tarot cards. So we are going to look at what binds you, what connects you together, and then the 2 energies within this connection so that you can check that this feels right and resonates with you from the offset before we go any further. So firstly, what binds you, what connects you together? We've got the heart chakra, forgiveness here. And in terms of energy, we've got 2 energies, so you can assign yourself to either one. Maybe there feels like a mixture of both, but energy 1, it can't wait to come out. We have community, and we also have octopus energy. In terms of signs for octopus, it's water energy, so Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. That doesn't have to be in someone's chart, but that may feature heavily. And then for energy 2, we have the 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, with hawk, which is air energy, so Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. Again, you don't have to have those placements, they don't have to have those placements, but that we're going to delve into the different energy. So firstly, I want to talk about forgiveness. So maybe at the moment there is a mending within this relationship. Potentially you guys, I get for this pile, maybe one or maybe both people suffered a heartbreak within this situation potentially. If it was outside of this connection, then maybe one person is recovering from something like that. But I get much more that this was maybe a breakup or a decision to separate mutually, or maybe it was a little bit one-sided. But I feel like hawk is the one that is really healing from, like, I think both people are healing from this, but I feel like hawk might have been the one that held and had a lot of the heartbreak within this connection, or felt it a lot but maybe didn't necessarily show it at the time potentially. But there is this kind of feeling like if you guys are talking now, or maybe there's been a few occasions in which you've seen one another, it feels like there are things clicking, there are things that you're working towards to release the past, to really free yourselves from it and this connection in order to move forward. And obviously we're looking at whether they miss you, and there's obviously this still need to mend, or is there is this movement forward. So there are those residual feelings of still like heartbreak or stuff within the heart, that there's obviously still that love there, because that's still mending. There's that mending of the heart. So there are those feelings still being worked through in order to move towards acceptance and forgiveness. But it feels like that's what you both, and it may not be one person at fault here that caused the rupture or maybe the heartbreak within this situation, or separation. Maybe, like I said, it was mutual, but for some people. But I feel like overall there is a feeling that both parties are wanting to kind of accept the past for what it is, put that in the past in order to mend what can be mended. Because maybe with this community card, maybe you guys are still within each other's spheres in some way. But firstly, I want to look at the energy of energy 1. So we've got community and we've got octopus here. So octopus energy is kind of reaching and yearning for something. So maybe yearning for this forgiveness as well. Someone who's really perceptive and has this really intelligent, engaged mind. Someone who's really interested, and maybe this person is really interested about the thoughts of hawk, really wanting to get wrapped around that, because maybe they feel like there has been this distance, this guard up. Hawk is very much like riding the wind, like the change of perspective and maybe even change of scenery is what I'm hearing for Hawk. So maybe that's where the distance is. And maybe Octopus feels a little bit out of their depth, like can't really see what is happening, which may be quite frustrating. So maybe is reaching out within community to see how this person is getting on. But I feel like their general energy is that you guys will still see each other, will still bump into one another, will still be in each other's spheres, and there's still a lot of solace and healing to come from this connection in terms of the joy and energy that you both share together. One other situation I get from Octopus as well is Octopus energy can be someone who may really depend on their community, may really need to feed off that energy of their community. So can potentially really it can be quite needy in some ways, but also they can really extend and maybe sometimes lack boundaries, maybe shared a lot with their community, or maybe gives too much of themselves to their community that they almost lose themselves in a way. So it's really well intended, like their heart is in the right place with it, but maybe they miss the mark and create messiness by almost tangling themselves up and tangling other people up in this connection potentially. Maybe there was a lot of asking about what they thought, what the other people thought of the connection, or something like that. I get that because they feel so much Octopus energy and feel so much from their community, I think their thoughts, they're always constantly questioning and wondering and asking, and they kind of want to know other people's business, know what they're thinking, and they don't really restrain themselves in that, because it's all from this love heart space. We've got this heart chakra again, which obviously connects, and with Hawk we've got the heart chakra linked to. So I feel like it comes from that place, but it's like in order to kind of get their thoughts and other people's thinking to catch up to their own heart space, they maybe create a bit of a tangle, which maybe they don't mean to necessarily cause. So I'm not if you felt like you resonated with Octopus, or I'm not saying that they are the only cause potentially of this this friction or this separation or this cause for missing one another, but there is this feeling that they want to know, they want to, I think they feel so much Octopus and that energy from their community that they need to know what's happening, because then they can get a barometer on what they can do next. And in terms of energy too, we have 4th chakra Archangel Raphael, and we've also got Hawk. And I think this, like I was saying, someone who from the past maybe suffered a lot of heartbreak in some way, but I think they are being guided by the energy of love and happiness, and are feeling much more aligned to that in order to rid themselves of regret, remorse and suffering in a lot of ways. And there is a lot of healing going on for Hawk, and I think riding new winds, like gaining new perspective over things, like I already said, but also there is this kind of intuitive pull with Hawk, this feeling that they can rise up out of the situation and gain this new perspective and this new healing from that. Like look at the lessons that are to be learned from this connection in order to move forward. And there is this kind of watching of the Hawk as well, and this all seeing, like maybe they are watching Octopus from afar, or again maybe both people are kind of watching the other person from a distance or through their community, like keeping tabs and keeping that kind of energy going still in order to reach that forgiveness. Maybe there is a feeling of just like things shifting, and they're not getting involved in really the nitty-gritty. They're trying to get a bigger picture, and maybe they're exploring new things, like as in like not necessarily new people, but maybe they're exploring new things within themselves, and and going after different things, just changing direction. I get this kind of like rebirth of them, and this feeling like they are kind of seeing themselves much more clearly because they've learned so much from this connection. So there's this kind of still this separateness here of both people, but then this obviously this need for forgiveness, or something that you both know that you need to come towards, or you are in the process of doing. But it doesn't feel like, for me, it doesn't feel like this real like deep one-on-one chat or has happened necessarily yet. If it has, then brilliant, then you're working to in spirit saying like that's, you're working towards that full kind of letting guard down and stuff. But it feels like there's still some walls up, but both people are kind of peeping toms, as it were. So if that doesn't feel like your relationship or this connection, then please do feel free to go back to the beginning and pick another pile. We're going to delve into some tarot now for what they miss. So what do they miss about you? So let's have a look-see. So Spirit, what do they miss about pile 2? So we have got the Page of Cups. We have got the Wheel of Fortune. We have got the King of Swords. So again, we've got water and air energy there. We have got the Two of Swords too. Oh, okay, we've got the Nine of Swords, and that's going to be clarified by the Six of Wands. I wanted to get some clarification on each card, so I will get that now. So we've got Death with the Page of Cups. We have got the King of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune. We have got the Queen of Pentacles with the King of Swords. And lastly, we've got the Ten of Wands with the Two of Swords. And on the back, we've got the Queen of Wands too. And then in terms of Oracle cards, we have Evolution. You realise that obstacles are merely lessons on your path to love. We have got Trepidation, Push through the shadows, Unclear, Fear and Darkness. And then on this side, we have got Fear, and we've also got Self-Care. So this is really interesting energy here. So there is a lot about change and evolution, but we've also got this fear and trepidation, and maybe this is towards this connection. Maybe they firstly, obviously we're asking what they miss about you, and I feel like it's your ability to choose love over fear, which is maybe what they feel like they're caught in. Maybe they feel like they're caught in the cycle of fear, or they're trying to gain a new perspective of it in some way. But I think with the Page of Cups clarified by Death, obviously we had Octopus earlier, which is that water energy, but I feel like there is this real like kind of meditative and reflective, and you didn't have to identify with Octopus, you may have identified with Hawk, but I feel like there is this meditative and reflective kind of outlook, this kind of like almost daydreaming quality to you, but this ability to accept the change. There is kind of this feeling that cycles are happening, there is this rebirth within yourself, and I think that's what they miss about you, is that you're able to see obstacles and everything as lessons, and you don't prescribe to the fear. And I think there is this general feeling that you put yourself first, that you care for yourself and you love yourself, you love the feelings that come up, and maybe you're unformed in your feelings, maybe you can't maybe it's not that you know fully what you want to do or things like that, but there is this general feeling that you will always follow your heart in situations, and your heart is your biggest weapon, your biggest arsenal against everything, and especially fear, because when love is present, fear cannot exist, fears and anxieties. And I feel like maybe they have a lot of anxieties or fears that they maybe shut down in a lot of ways. And I think what they admire about you and are inspired by is your ability to move past that. Even if you do feel that, I'm not saying that you completely are fearless, maybe you are, but there's this feeling that everything is happening for a reason for you. You know that there are cycles in this world, there are things that are going to change, things that are going to move around, but you realize it's part of your evolution, it's a part of your growth. And that's looking at the world in possibilities with that unformed feeling energy, that you will attach to the right things. And it's like with this death card, with this, there's this always like, it's always darkest before the dawn. There is this feeling like new cycles will begin. And I think potentially for some people, the heartbreak that maybe you encountered within this relationship, maybe there's this feeling that you have risen out of that fear and pushed through the shadows, pushed through the absence of this relationship or this connection, but generally as a feeling that you're able to do that with regards to other things as well. Like there's this ability to always learn from your past, to grow away from it. And no matter what emotional storm you go through, you rise out with optimism and positivity. And you really have this internal knowing that the things that are meant for you are going to find their way to you. And you can always find your stability and security, even if things are changing, even if things are being shaken up. You know that if you keep playing the game, if you keep putting yourself out there, if you keep showing up for yourself and putting yourself first and making sure that you are doing things that make your heart glad, that you are going to find your security in this unstable world, that you are going to feel grounded. And I think there's this general feeling that you are someone who can... I see so much reflectiveness from the beginning as well. Like, I think there is this feeling that maybe they see themselves as very analytical, someone who is very logical and needs a plan, potentially. With this King of Swords, I get this kind of this potential like kind of rationalist, someone who needs to have all the facts, who really cuts to the truth, maybe quite penetrating, maybe lets their inner critic run a little wild, maybe sometimes falls into the fear trap. But I feel like with you, there is this kind of Queen of Pentacles energy, and this isn't to do with gender or anything, this is energy. I feel like there is just this nurturing energy because you look towards love. You know within your deeper inner knowing that there is this, that there are cycles in this world, and it is up to you to nurture the seeds of what it is that you want to do and what you feel. And there's this real like dedicated and tenacious spirit, this really mothering spirit of yourself, of that self-care, that, like I said, no matter what storms that you've weathered, no matter what you come up against, you're always going to know that within yourself that there is this just do it mentality, that you will get up for yourself and show up for yourself and lean into the change, lean into that unknown, even if it is scary, even if there are possibilities and it feels like sometimes with that Wheel of Fortune things spin out of your control. You are always going to react to the change because you know within yourself with that King of Pentacles energy, that you are grounded enough and you are bullish enough. I get this real stubbornness, maybe like this kind of like belligerent self, that no, you know that you can do it. And you need to show up for yourself, that you have this great independence. And like I said, no matter what is spinning, no matter what is going on, you are always going to be faithful to your heart and not be afraid to step up and play the game. There's this kind of, I'm not sitting back. There is no point of prescribing to the fear. I'm going to keep pushing forward, because even if I hit rock bottom, which I feel like on occasions maybe you have, with this Ten of Swords here, maybe you have really, and maybe this is within this connection, like I said, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because obviously this is what they miss about you. But with that Ten of Swords, there's that feeling of no matter what situation, no matter how insurmountable, no matter how many people's, like, no matter how many people put their thoughts, their anxieties onto you, no matter what situation gets on top of you and really pierces through to your heart and how low you feel, there is this feeling like always one hand will rise up and grab onto something, grab onto hope, that door, even if fear feels like it's closing in on you, those shadows, you will always find that dawn, that there is that spirit of things can't get any worse than this, or I'm going to burst open that door. There is this real strong sense of self, that you will rise up and you will change perspectives and gain something new. Like no situation can hold you down for long. And with this Two of Swords, it's like kind of that heart, mind, and it's so interesting how we had air and water, and Two of Swords is that heart mind situation in a lot of ways, like two swords crossed over with this, like in the Rider-Waite deck, with this beautiful ocean, this deep unconscious knowing behind. And maybe that's why it feels so entwined, both energies in some ways. But with the Two of Swords, there's this feeling that no matter what is wrapping up around you, no matter what rock bottom, no matter what situation it is, you will always carve out a new path. It's like there's two ways of going. There's the old way, the path that you were treading, like fork in a road. Like you can either carry on going down this life of fear and prescribing to that, or you can evolve and realize that this junction has come up in order for you to pick a new way, even if that is scary and that brings up fear and it's unclear of where that is going. You know that that light is within you, that you can follow your intuition, follow your heart, that creativity, that play, and really realize that you are where you're going. You are where you are walking, one step in front of the other. And again, we've got all these things, this Nine of Swords. It's like maybe at one point, maybe when this person knew you, like you were coming up against so much potentially, maybe so many things were happening in your life, and it felt like almost like I'm hearing, and this may not be for everyone, because I feel like some of the stuff was very serious that you were going through, but it almost felt like, gosh, can anything else happen to pile two? Like, can anything else be put on their plate? Can anything else happen? And it almost felt like a living nightmare in some ways, but almost like a comedy sketch gone wrong. Like these things just keep on happening, keep on piling up. But again, even if there were all those voices, that self-doubt, that inner critic rising up, all those feelings that other people were getting involved and putting a lot of their anxieties on to you, there's that feeling that you always rise up with that Six of Wands, that tenacious spirit, and find your victory and really triumph over that fear and really pin that down. So I feel like there is a lot of conquering which you're able to do, and you will constantly, even if you feel like things get on top and there's like a lot of things go wrong, that you're always able to see and shift perspective. And it doesn't matter, like I said, which energy you prescribe to at the beginning, because I think this person is in awe of that energy and wants to be more like that, and wants to really have that kind of get up and go, and that goodbye to the fear in a lot of ways, and really bring their heart and open their heart up to the things that they want, like you do. Because the shadows, the things that we repress, the things that we hide from or we don't confront, they can all come and catch up with us at the end, unless we do that. And I feel like you have that energy of, I know that I can get out of this. I know that there is this feeling that I am untouchable from those things, or if I do feel like I'm getting caught up, I can ground myself. I know myself. And you are constantly always choosing love above the fear, above that feeling, because you're like, well, what's the point? What's the point of getting caught up in that? There is none. I need to keep moving forward in a lot of ways, and keep playing the game of life, because things can shift, things can evolve, things change. And if I'm so focused on looking at fear, then I might miss out on the next possibility and the next opening, the next window for me. And like, I feel like your mantra could be like, the one thing about me is that I always get through it. I always get through anything. I will always find the new road, the new possibility, and lean into that change, no matter how scary, because no situation could be more scary than being stuck and stagnant. So there is this real openness to finding your way through, like seeing feelingly is what I'm hearing. Like, even if you don't have clarity of where it is exactly this path is going, or the plan of action is not necessarily laid down, maybe like they need, potentially, there is this feeling that you will always feel your way through it, feel your way through the situation with that emotional maturity that comes, because there's that deep inner instinct, that knowing of yourself that you will find it, and you are hardworking and tenacious enough that everything else will catch up with you. So I want to get some Romance Angels cards for this connection. So this may be what's coming up, or some further things for this connection. Okay. So firstly, we have wedding. This situation involves marriage, but I don't want this to be so on the nose, as it were. Like, this could just be that a connection is coming up. Maybe you guys are celebrating two other people or one other person. Maybe this is like a reconciliation in some way of an event that is bringing you together. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wedding. It could be, but maybe there is this kind of like the community card at the beginning, something in order to bring joy and festivity together with other people, maybe within your sphere, if you're in like the same friendship group or something. It feels like that could be happening. So obviously involves marriage, could be a pinch of salt. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive highest energy of all. So again, we obviously had that forgiveness card. So this feels like it's much more personal to you, obviously. But maybe it's also for them, is that the trials maybe that you both have gone through from past relationships or within this connection, maybe it feels like your heart is opening and you're ready to be vulnerable and say, and that actually maybe the obstacles, like you so fearlessly do, maybe the obstacles that were in front of you, or maybe the blocks in their mind or the blocks in your mind, maybe you've taken that time and it's safe to open up and move past that fear, move forward towards a new beginning, whether that be friendship or more within this connection. We've also got religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So again, maybe if you feel very intuitive in some ways, or maybe you have this kind of this belief in the universe, the cycles and that kind of thing, maybe that is your love life, that feeling that you are learning lessons, that you are evolving, that you are growing. Maybe that is a factor for some people, that kind of spiritual path. So that may resonate with you, take it if it does. And then we've also got separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. So it feels like, obviously we're asking, do they miss me? And obviously we've got the separation card, which is kind of, for me, that's the kind of energy state that it feels like in the moment. So maybe it feels like there is maybe an event that might be happening that might bring you together in some way, but maybe this separation, maybe there still needs to be a bit of time, or maybe it feels like it's still marinating until this moment that there is that connectivity again. So trust that it's all happening, this religious factors, that it's all happening for you in order for you to feel this self-care, for you to open your heart, so that you can then be in the place where you can receive it again. And remember that you are changing, and therefore this person has changed as well. So when you meet this person again, if you do see them at an event or whatever it is, remember that they are, with this religious factors, that they are growing, that they are learning, that they are opening up to new things every single day. We all do. And so when you see this person, remember to look at them with those fresh eyes, those new eyes, even if there are things that need to be forgiven and spoken about in the past, in order to fully let go and move on, that release, in order to step somewhere new. You can do a lot of that work within yourself already, that almost falls towards the wayside in some ways, but keep pushing forward and start receiving that love from yourself first, that feeling that you are worthy of love, and that will help you push past any blocks that you feel like. You naturally do this anyway, and obviously this person sees you as doing this, as we just said, that you can conquer over anything almost. And there is this sense of victory in this, that you will be the victor, that you will have love, that you will get through this and come out just as optimistic about the future, and this just do it energy, following your intuition of that knowing of what you are deserving of. So I want to get some channeled songs as well, again, for this connection, or maybe how you are feeling. So let's get some songs on this table. I haven't done some songs in a while. I do love a bit of a song. I did have an absolute memory lapse for one of my favourite songs earlier, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm Sticking With You, the Velvet Underground. So maybe there is this feeling like it's not done yet, like there's still unfinished business, and maybe this is just a separation for reconciliation to happen. So maybe that resonates. And we've also got Walk Away, Christina Aguilera. So maybe again, taking time to walk away, to gain thoughts, to gain a new perspective, or maybe, and releasing that old relationship. We've got Love Yourself, Justin Bieber. So maybe there is this bit of residual energy of, which I feel like is being healed from, but maybe at the moment, maybe it felt like there was a lot of anger potentially within this, and you should just go and love yourself then, or and maybe both people were like, we need to just go and focus on us, focus on our own wholeness, and not, maybe if a lot of things were happening, like a lot of external factors with all these thoughts, all these swords hanging around, maybe it was really important for both of you to go and look at your fears, why things were coming up, why things were being said or done even outside of the connection, or if there were a lot of thoughts and situations which sorry, were kind of taking you away from one another. Maybe there were things that you needed to battle, demons outside of this relationship, so it was important to go and do that. Don't let the sun go down on me. Obviously we had all this imagery of brightest before the dawn, that sun, and so maybe there's this feeling that don't let the sun go down on this relationship. Maybe there are cycles, there are things we can change, we can grow, we can move on. Such a great song. And then we've got complicated Avril Lavigne. So maybe things, like I said, were complicated, things outside of this relationship and maybe within. And it's there was that need for separation in order to untangle. But there is this feeling like this isn't going to be the end. Like with that forgiveness card, there is going to be a next chapter, a new thing, a new evolution of this relationship in a different facet. Maybe it's friendship, maybe it's romantic, whatever it is. There's this need to be openness, to have openness, and that this separation was for a reason, in order for you guys to learn and grow and evolve and really put the past in the past and sow new seeds in order to encourage what it is that you want. So sometimes we have to walk away and the paths entwine again, but sometimes we need to walk away and release. And sometimes it's even releasing older baggage than we knew that we were carrying in order to be lighter and more open and receptive, so we can pick new energy up. And like I said, both people are changing, so are therefore new, coming to it with new experiences, new ideas about how to move forward. So lastly, what I want to do is I just want to get some Love Affirmator cards. Sorry, I'm just going to get some water quickly. Had a little tickle in my throat. Sorry about that. So let's get some Love Affirmators, some advice for you. So Spirit, what else do you have to tell my lovely friends of pile 2? So we've got 1. Great. So, we have boundaries. Okay, sorry about that. My phone died because it wasn't properly plugged in. So boundaries. Let's go again. I continue at the end of the reading and then realise. But I've got these oracle cards, so it's okay. So we've got boundaries. I claim my right to set healthy boundaries, and I allow others to do the same. Sometimes personal space is taken and sometimes it's given. And sometimes if you're on the subway, it's completely disregarded and shamelessly invaded. I guess it depends on the day. So boundaries, this is so interesting because we've spoken so much about you being able to realize what you will and won't accept, and prescribing to love. And self-care and love is setting healthy boundaries for yourself, realizing that you are in charge of your life and of the energy that you will and won't accept. So this is and I think this whole thing has been a great learning curve, this separation, and with this change of perspective on it, as opposed to looking at it as we're separated or we broke up or whatever it is, there's this feeling like we've learned bits about yourself and of the energy that you will and won't accept, and you allow that person and other people to have their own boundaries, to have their own things that they've come up against, experiences that have emboldened them to create these boundaries in order for them to be better and knowing what they're worthy of. And that's really what a boundary is. It's not a negative thing. It's not having your guard up. It's knowing what you will and won't accept in terms of energy and situations. And sometimes the personal space is needed. Sometimes it's taken, and we need to look at it and address it. We've also got perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house? I love how we've got hawk as well with this perspective shift from the beginning. Besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about, what will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really onto something. So obviously we had the hawk at the beginning, but this is really, and I think both parties can gain this perspective of the relationship, but also of love in general, and look at everything and see what the problems, what the conflicts, the complaints, maybe what they were, and how maybe minute, how maybe small they were within this connection, or maybe if it's something, and you can gain perspective of yourself, whether it was something that was happening in other relationships as well from before. And if you look as like as far out as you can, as with this bird's eye view, you can see how small they are, but also how they can be tinkered, how they can be adjusted, and gain that perspective of actually you are in charge, and that in the end you can alter circumstances to gain a new perspective, to change things up, so those conflicts, those things don't arise again potentially as well. And with this 80-year-old hawk thing, like looking at your life, looking at the relationship and its life, and seeing how long those things were going on for, or whether it was very small and whether it was just you guys got caught up in it, and really take that healthy look and be honest. And it's all about honesty before we can accept. We've also got cleansing, feeling bogged down by the weight of a thousand thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery objects lurking in your closets. Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies adverbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences with every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out, and not to worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac on the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. So with this cleansing, we've spoken so much about it, how you're able to change and let go of the past and that baggage, and really look and clear house in terms of thoughts and feelings in order for something new. And I feel like this is the cleansing this relationship needed, or your love, like looking at love needed. And there is this openness that Spirit wants you to have as well moving forward. And that's all through that self-worth, what you are worthy of. And it's really time, I think, with that forgiveness, to learn, accept. You can't change what happened in the past. Those seeds have been sown. Those things have happened. Those conflicts, those problems, whatever it is. But you can look back and with learning and looking at that situation, gaining a new perspective of it, seeing it as a lesson, learn from it, accept it, and move on and start growing something new. Cleansing yourself and realizing that you don't need to hold on to the weight of that, because it's happened, because it's gone, and you can have forgiveness, ask for forgiveness, or seek forgiveness within yourself for what happened, for prescribing to fear maybe, and switching that to love, and realizing that through love you can cleanse and you can grow, and that is something that is going to help you set those boundaries and nurture new things for yourself in the future. And you can gain a perspective that even if this situation came to head and you weren't happy with your behavior in that situation, you can cleanse yourself from it. You can forgive yourself, ask for forgiveness, and move on and cleanse and find new psychic bric-a-brac in that, and really with no guilt flush it out and know that you can start afresh, and you are going forward as a new person because you are informing yourself and wanting to change. It's like that justice card that you, with positive intentions in the present moment, can affect your future. And you can change the person that you are through setting your boundaries and knowing your self-worth, and of how you are looking at the world and how you are constantly learning and moving forward. So I want to leave that reading there for you guys today, my glorious friends of Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I've really loved it. So obviously we've looked at what they miss about you. So obviously we said about distance and connection, but we've looked at this advice. And just a final note from me, and I've said this before as well, this feels like this separation, or this breakup potentially for some people. This has been, I think, and not to put on to your relationship, but it feels like an evolution for you, for your self-transformation. So don't feel like it's one-sided, or even if the breakup or the separation was one-sided. This is really time for you to cleanse yourself and work on yourself and continue to do those things that they miss about you, is that you're able to gain this new perspective and triumph over the fear. So keep leaning into that love and keep knowing that you are worthy of love, and be open and receptive to that within yourself. But I just wanted to say that was a quick thing that I just felt called to say. But I am sending so much love to all of you. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you guys there. Bye. Hello lovely friends of pile 3. So if you picked the guided hand tarot deck, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, we're going to look at this connection, what binds you together, and we'll look at the 2 energies within this connection. So firstly, what binds you together, we have got self-mastery. So I think, actually no, I'm going to go into the 2 energies first. So energy 1 is going to be represented by 7th chakra archangel Uriel, and we've also got the swan energy. So we've got water signs here, but you do not have to be or have those placements, or they don't either. I'm not assigning which energy. You can do that within this connection, but I feel because it's linked by self-mastery, I think there is some kind of interconnectedness here between both energies. So swan energy, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. And then with energy 2, we have the temple path and we have beaver. So again, water energy, but beavers, the way that they express their kind of inner artist, as it were, or their kind of water, they are the water element, but they're quite earthy as well. They're quite grounded. So earth placements could be quite prevalent for this energy. So Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, but take that with a pinch of salt. Do not necessarily have to have those placements. It's all about energy. So firstly, self-mastery. There is this real like kind of balancing going on, that kind of growing of back spine for both people, growing in confidence of who they are, maybe within who they are within this connection, and finding their own wholeness is the overwhelming sense that I get, that each person is in charge of their own alignment, of finding themselves, and not the other person is going to do that for them. So there is this real like self-restraint, power, and personal power in realizing that you are different from other people. You need different things to align yourself, but also you are chasing other things, and that is absolutely okay. So I think for both people, maybe what connects you is your sense of self and how you are different, and really how you use your power to your advantage, and how you take that in your stride and move along forward. So that feels like what is connecting, and maybe the connection at the moment, maybe there is some distance or separation potentially for some people, in order to find that self-healing, that self-balance. So for energy 1, we have swan energy, and we've got 7th chakra archangel Uriel. And so with the 7th chakra, that is kind of gaining new perspective, kind of psychic downloads, as it were, from the divine. So maybe this person feels like that they are feeling very guided in terms of spirit and the universe at this moment in time, and there's this beautiful kind of creativity in the swan, and this inner artist really coming into play. Like the surface is just a surface, and it's so deep. Like there's really these deep things that maybe are being confronted at the moment, and it's not just all surface level. There's like kind of this effortless creativity and power in, and this heightened creativity, and it feels like allowing your soul's voice to really come forward and speak, and maybe even being in this reflective, I feel like Swan is being quite reflective at the moment, really looking within themselves for the answers, for those kind of like downloads. But there is this real like working on their inner voice and listening to that more in order to display that outwards. It's really quite healing, this energy, as what I feel Swan is going through. And there's this kind of elegant, like kind of delicate power as well going on underneath the surface. So I feel like it's, again, really linking into that self-mastery. And I think how they're feeling towards this connection is that they are actually working on their own wholeness, on how, and really quieting their mind to listen to how they are feeling about it. And very similarly, energy 2 is doing the same with this temple path as well. There is this kind of feeling like walking on a spiritual path. Maybe they even see it on that kind of spiritual journey, that they are learning and growing from it and really quieting their mind so that they can find their own sense of self within this connection and really be with themselves so that they can understand what it is that they want from it moving forwards. Maybe it's come to a point where a decision has to be made, or something like that, or maybe if an obstacle has come up, potentially. I don't feel like at the moment we'll delve further into what do they miss about you, but I feel like this is all just chasing your own wholeness. And with Beaver, we got someone who works tirelessly, that puts their family, nurtures other people, puts them first, and is incredibly loyal, and shows that, like I said already, through the earth element. So earth placements could be involved here, through providing home and finding a home within themselves is something that I'm hearing for Beaver too. Someone that works long term, sees the path ahead, and works tirelessly and tenaciously towards that. So maybe Swan is doing a little more of tapping into that inner voice and kind of where do they want to go, whereas maybe Beaver has a bit more of a destination for their self. But both people are getting and are determined in order to find themselves first, and it's a really healthy way of doing it. And so yeah, I feel like maybe that is the difference. Maybe Beaver knows what it is that they want to do, or sees their spiritual path, their temple path ahead, and Swan is feeling very in tune, very in touch, and is feeling like they're mastering themselves, their wants and needs, but maybe they're not as far as along as they would like, or maybe they haven't kind of formulated everything. They're allowing themselves to be free creatively. But it's a really interesting connection. And it's funny because with this pile, it doesn't feel like there is much about this connection as of yet. So maybe it's something that never really got started, or if it is, then maybe it's just that there's nothing. It sounds so dramatic saying it, anything drastically wrong. Like as if there shouldn't be. It should be easy when it comes to love and relationships. That's what we strive for, that's what we want, is to feel uncomplicated. But maybe there is just this feeling of, I am going to work on myself, they are working on themselves, I am working on myself, and that's the thing, I've got to put myself, my own self-care at the forefront. So if that doesn't feel like your connection, maybe go back to the beginning and pick another pile. But we are going to delve into tarot now for this pile, for my glorious friends of pile 3. So let's start shuffling your tarot and get into this. So what do they miss about you? What do they miss about you? So we have the 10 of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Wands, we have the 2 of Pentacles. Oh, okay, wow, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to take those because I only want to get 2 more for the top, and then I want to clarify each one. So there we go. We'll go for Magician. Oh, okay, and these ones I'll pair together at the end. So we've got the Page of Cups and we've got the Knight of Wands too. So that's there. And then in terms of 10 of Pentacles, we have got Death card. And we have got the Hierophant with the Queen of Wands. We have got the 5 of Cups with 2 of Pentacles, and then with the Magician. Okay, we've got Justice and King of Cups. So I'm going to allow both of them. Feels sneaky, but that's what we're going to do. And we've got the High Priestess on the back, which I'm going to keep to the side of here, because I feel like that could be quite prevalent with the Magician too. So yes, let's get your oracle cards. We've got tolerance. You appreciate other points of view because you sense the love in everyone. So we've got that. We've also got wait, patience, events are still unfolding, hold back, rest, observe. We have got energy, and we have got make. So also, because I was like, oh, it's like not drastically bad or anything. Maybe this is a relationship, but maybe there's just distance here. Maybe it's not even separation, or for some people, maybe it is just like they don't see each other often, or maybe it's geographically, potentially, for some people. So, or maybe you just miss them and you're just wondering what they're thinking about you now. So there doesn't have to be anything wrong, as it were, for this reading, just so you know, because I obviously said that with like, oh, not to be sound so dramatic saying that. So let's have a look at what they miss about you. So we've got the Ten of Pentacles and Death. So I think there's this kind of maybe something about you is that you are not afraid to reevaluate your goals and what it is that you want for the future, your financial abundance and your stability in terms of your earthly manifestations. And I feel like maybe there is this feeling like you embrace change with this Death card, that anything that happens, anything that if your goal doesn't go the way that you hope, or if the path that you were treading, there is this great patience that things are going to work out. And maybe there was this really big upheaval of something that you had your mind set on, your sights focused, and it feels like you're like, no, it's okay, things change, things happen, I can go through this, I can keep creating something new, keep creating the path that I want for myself. And with the Queen of Wands and the Hierophant, maybe you're a fire sign potentially. I know we didn't have them at the beginning, but like I said, that could be very much energy. That we could have a Leo, Sagittarius or Aries. Doesn't have to be, you might just have those placements alongside earlier. But there is this kind of great kind of feeling that you kind of put the emotional storms that you've gone through. Maybe you have your guard up in some ways, or you're free of them. Those experiences that you've gone through, those emotional things that make up you have triumphed over. And you've still got this tenacity, this optimism, this great like beaming smile for the world, this kind of just do it energy that actually you can propel yourself forward. And I get this really great sense that you've got this great intuition. So like those psychic downloads, that spirituality, that path of living life and taking life by the horns, as it were, and really saying that you live in faith every single day, that you are learning every single day. People are brought into your life as lessons. Every experience has a reason behind it. And there's this feeling that even if I don't understand everything, even if I don't understand why something happened to me, or I can't quite put my finger on it, there is a learning curve here. And it's all about the energy that we need to encounter, that we need to learn from, comes into our lives. And I think what they miss about you is your rare ability to see the world in that way, that you can lean into the changes, that you can understand that things will come and go, things do change, but you can accept it, you can learn from it. And maybe you were even, with this Hierophant card, maybe you were even that to them, that you opened them up potentially to spirituality or this awareness and taught them so much about living in faith, that that you can have this practice within yourself of acceptance, learning and growing and being receptive and open to love and possibilities. But maybe you taught them things or taught them something on their path potentially, based off of your experiences. But I get more that there's just this sense of energy, that you taught them about energy, the energy of themselves, and also your energy gave off so much joy and light that inspired that within themselves too, or still does inspire that within them too. And with the Two of Pentacles and also the Five of Cups as well, this really comes into play with what we were saying about the emotional storms, that maybe you suffered a bit of loss of pleasure in your life, or the grief that you may have had to encounter, however heavy, you worked through it and you are working through it. And actually you realize that you can balance yourself out through that self-mastery, that you have the ability to pick something new. Like if something doesn't go your way or something happens which is hard to move on from emotionally, you have this ability to alchemize your life in order to see new possibilities as they come. And it's like even if you're in this loss, you can see the hope, you can see the new possibility, the new way, and there's this patience within yourself that things are going to work out, that you are your own completion and your own wholeness, that you will find your stride again, that you will work to bring about your new beginning, your new path. And there's this kind of recreation here, and no matter what it is, whether you were angry, whether you were bargaining, where you were in denial, you got yourself to acceptance. You may have gone through that scale a couple of times, but you accepted it, and you're like, I can drop the old way now and I can move on to something new. There's this like rebirth here through tough times that I think they miss that ability for you to accept. And maybe you forgave them, maybe you've forgiven things that they put you through potentially, but not necessarily for everyone. But or maybe they just wish that they knew more of your past, because I feel like I said, that guard up or something, but not an unhealthy guard. It's just that you are someone different. So like your past, you've learned from it, you've accepted it, you've released it. You don't need to keep living there. You've kind of recreated yourself, you've moved yourself along. You realize that it has great weight for you because you've learned from all those experiences. But in terms of your future, you've learned those lessons that you need to learn, and you're going to move forward from them. With the Magician, with the King of Cups and Justice as well, again we have this, we have water energy again, so like we said at the beginning, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, but there is this real emotional maturity here, emotional maturity of kind of this level-headedness, and paired with this thought, and you know, feelings and thoughts can get wrapped up so much, but I think there is this great weight on your heart and what your heart wants, and this openness of what you want to create. And again, we've got this kind of like deep intuitive feeling pull in a lot of ways as well. And through the Magician, there's this, it's manifesting the reality that you want and understanding energy again. And through that High Priestess card, which I said was important on the back of the deck as well, there's this feeling that you've got all the resources that you need within you, and your heart and your unconscious creative mind, and all that water energy, your deep emotions, help you put a barometer on what you want to create and the reality that you want to create. And it feels like through the Magician that your willpower and your courage to alter your circumstances, to balance out, to learn from the past and move on and sow new seeds, you realize that the time is now, and you have to take action towards what it is that you want. And you are kind of a lightning rod for the divine, a lightning rod for energy. You can bring down that power into yourself and use whichever element that you want in order to create your reality. So there is this beautiful, beautiful ability to see feelingly, and I said this to another pile as well, but to find that truth within yourself. Like, you can be blinded to everything else going on, all the obstacles that may be in your way, and just sit with yourself and say, what is it that I actually want? And you can make that happen by being fearless and leaning into that unknown and asking for it, asking and wanting and making action towards it. And with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands as well, there is this charging forward, that you've got this like Again, we've got fire energy and we've got water again here. So I feel like you are someone who, maybe you have really heavy fire and earth placements within your chart, but maybe you are someone who has this really strong, instinctive, almost impulsive maybe energy, this fervent desire to create, to be, to go for, to show your heart, but also to meditate and reflect on what it is that you want and look at the world through this childlike joy. And I feel like you have this real deep connection with the universe as well. We've got so many familiars and also spirit guides here. So maybe you are in touch with your spiritual team or your spirit guides, but there feels like there is just you're unapologetic with what it is that you want to go for, and it feels like your life is alight with what you want to create. And that doesn't mean that you haven't come up against obstacles and boundaries, but it just means that you are always reassessing your goals and checking in with yourself with what it is that you want, so you can balance that out. You're not afraid to say, I'm still changing, I'm still evolving, I'm still allowed my goals to move forward and make something new for myself. Every facet, everything that I'm learning is getting me there. And there is this patience that things are still moving forward for you, that you're not over yet, you're not in your final facet. You are going to observe yourself, listen to yourself, be patient, and keep growing and learning, and realizing that all the energy is coming towards you at this moment in time for you to gain new perspectives. And you can love everyone else for being different, because I feel like you are a very different energy in terms of this trust and this faith. You can, like, you have this sense of love for everyone, that everyone has given you something to learn, no matter if what you've been through in the past, and you can tolerate that. But also, if people don't understand you, that's fine. There's this kind of release of, I'm still going to love them for being who they are and doing their thing. I can love and respect, but I've got love and respect for who I am and how I think and how I work and who I want to be. So I'm not going to compromise that within myself. And I think that's what they miss. They miss that you are unapologetically you, and you follow your creative spark and your intuition, and you're not afraid to show and be open about what it is that you want, even if that keeps changing, because you are evolving, and if anything, you take that in your stride, and you love that about yourself. And you're always just going to be patient with yourself and listen to yourself. And I feel like you just open them up to that feeling of that self-mastery, that you can be anything and be anyone at any time in your life. It doesn't matter. You can change, you can recreate yourself. Just look at life through joy and the love of yourself, that you are changing. So I want to get some cards for this pile as well from the Romance Angels. So Spirit, so this is potentially about the connection, or again some more like thoughts, feelings. Did you want to come out? Yes, flirt. And we get one more as well. Yeah. Okay, so we have attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So I feel like there's probably, along with flirt, that there are, and also I'm just going to read them all out actually and then talk about them because they all link. Flirt, extend your light-hearted energy to others and let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. And we've obviously got this patience wait card here. So I feel like within this connection, there is this great attraction, there is this flirtation, there is this joy at getting to know one another, and I think it's reciprocated here. Even if you guys are working on your own self-mastery and everything and your own wholeness, that is the whole reason of life. You are your own wholeness. You are yourself. You are your own person. Everyone else is a cherry on top of the cake, is life sprinkles. And actually, you can let go of the need to control every movement, as I think that's what they miss about you, is your ability to work with the energy that is in front of you. And maybe if there are geographic things or stuff like that, which maybe which is why maybe the miss, or maybe they're just on holiday or whatever it is, like there is no need to control. The feeling, the energy is there, and there is this playfulness, this lightheartedness, and not to, like with anything in your life, if there's changes that occur, if anything that comes up, accept the change, accept that it may not be exactly how it was. Like don't set expectations for what it is going to be. You don't need to control it. Just allow that kind of romance with life, of the possibilities of where it's going, and that flirtation to come about, and just enjoy the present moment. With that Justice card, the present moment, sowing the seeds now affects the future. So keep it light, keep it in love, and don't worry about the fear, because fear breeds fear. So if you sow love now, if you sow great experiences and great flirtation and lightheartedness now, that's going to continue on and continue to reassure and renew and nourish this connection, but also yourself in love. So I also want to get some channel songs for this connection again. So we have a couple, please. Okay. So we have Take On Me, great song. We've also got Come and Get Your Love, Redbone. We've got a lot of 80s hits. Don't Let Go, Love, and Vogue. We've also got Stranger's Kiss, Alex Cameron and Angel Olsen. And we've also got Life is a Roller Coaster, Ronan Keating, You've Just Gotta Ride It. So I love these. This is this like light-heartedness and play, and this not letting go of like life is a roller coaster, like kind of almost let go of the steering wheel, but you don't need to let go of love, as it were. Like you can keep loving, you can keep renewing, keep getting that, and it's this kind of beautiful, like with Stranger's Kiss as well, like looking at people with new eyes, with this new energy, this new love, and this Take On Me. It's just continuing to enjoy the ride of where this is taking you, where this relationship is heading, and how exciting it is to be within each other's presence. So obviously if there is this feeling of missing one another at this moment in time, roller coasters always make their way back to the start, they make their way back home, and there's this feeling that if you keep holding on to the pure energy, the pure light-hearted energy of enjoyment and feeling that love at every turn, no matter what comes up, you'll find your way. And yeah, these are great songs. I love these songs, but maybe there'll be lyrics that feel like they pop up for you, or certain things, or they align. So give them a listen, maybe, or maybe you've already heard them yourself, like a particular lyric. But those are great songs. And lastly, just to finish off, I just want to get you guys some Love Affirmators. Oh, before we go, is that 3? That is 3. That's exactly what I wanted. Great. So we have giving. I welcome the idea of give and take in my relationships, and I eagerly practice the give part. By giving freely, I discover just how fun giving really is. Giving my time, care, and attention to someone else actually gives me good feelings, which makes me want to give even more. Wait a sec, does selflessness make me look selfish? Be honest. So I like this card because the give and take in relationships, the reciprocation, if you are getting that energy, keep giving, and make sure, obviously with boundaries and that kind of thing and stuff, make sure that you are getting that energy back. But it just feels like there is nice reciprocation within this connection. Or if you do feel like it's quiet and stuff like that, then maybe it's kind of giving yourself and opening yourself up more, and being honest and open is going to breed that more within other people too. But yeah, you can give freely. It doesn't cost you anything, even if it's giving a compliment or whatever it is. when it makes other people feel good, it makes you feel good in return. And you gain the benefits of that. Curiosity, meeting new people. I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? So this is kind of linking back to tolerance for me in a way, of other people's perspectives and opinions and interests and the stories that they share. But also I think the curiosity of unwrapping this relationship, like I feel like it's established in some ways, but there's still a lot to learn about one another. And you both are treasure troves. There is a lot of stuff for you guys to still learn and look at each other with those fresh perspective, as you would with life, of the new possibilities. What are you going to learn? What are you going to hear from them today? What are they going to tell you about themselves? And it's so interesting when you look at life as in not what you're going to learn, what are you going to learn from this person, but also, what more do you have to gain, like not gain from them, but what more are you going to unlock? What else are they going to tell you? What story is it going to, what's going to make you laugh? And you just see like the vulnerability that people have, but also all the nuggets of information that they've got to share. We've also got reliability. I am reliable. When I say I'll do something, I take whatever that something is seriously. This applies to all commitments, even the ones that may have seemed small and insignificant to a less reliable me. From now on, flaking is just for dandruff and commercials and cereal factories. So reliability, I like this. I think if you, and it's kind of being like, it's kind of feeding into this giving thing for me too. Like, if you want to give your time to this relationship, be reliable to it, show up for it. And just as you are like showing up for your self-mastery and everything, be accountable to yourself, the commitments to yourself and the commitments to others, and extend that. If it's something that you want with that magician card that they already see you as, and that's what they miss about you, that energy, if you want something, go out and say it. Say what it is that you want, and be vulnerable and be open and be reliable to yourself, that you are going to be true to your heart's desires, and give yourself the present of being open and honest towards others. Extend that, and that is a massive gift to you too. But yeah, I love you guys. I love these cards. I love this connection and this energy. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards today. I really hope the advice was useful. I hope it felt like it resonated with you. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you guys there. Bye.